Yes. Welcome, everybody, to the Meeting on the Bridge podcast for book club. And we are starting a new book today, and it is Mishkat Moumin's book, Dr. Mishkat. And she's going to do a little introduction to it, and then we're going to dive into the first two chapters today, and we've got some questions afterwards. If you are watching and you want to join us, please email me or any one of these ladies, and we will send you a link so that you can come on live with us. We'd love to have you join us. We're not very scary. So,
Not very.
no, not very, just a little
Just
scary.
sort of. Just sort of.
Anyway, we're just excited to premiere Mishkat's book. It's called Unseen, Unbroken, and it is just a fabulous book. And she has a fabulous story, and we have her with us. So, Mishkat, why don't you tell us just kind of what you want to tell us about the book before we get started?
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sandy and Cynthia, for having me today. The book is about what to do when systems fail you. I'm not talking about only big systems or formal systems like the government or state, even those systems were discussed in the book. But I'm talking about the parent who neglects you. I'm talking about the teacher who would mark you down or put you down. What do you do in these situations? That's what the book is trying to answer. And it's trying to answer it honestly through a lived experience. It took me more than 9 years to write the book, not because I was lazy, but because each time I wrote a word, I felt like I'm opening a wound in my heart and letting it bleed. But then I used the same strategies explained in the book and kept putting one foot in front of the other until I get to the finish line. So I couldn't be more grateful for all of you ladies, for all people who attend with us today or who are interested in the book and wants to read it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I love that encapsulation of when systems fail, fail you, because that is really all of our story. We all have had systems fail. We've had systems blame us for things we weren't, it wasn't our fault. We've had people fail us when they didn't know they were failing us. And so it's a universal concept, and it's beautifully written. And it sounds to me, Mishkat, that not only was this a journey about your history, but it was a healing journey because
Exactly.
your intuition didn't let you get ahead of yourself.
Exactly. And, to me, writing is healing. There
Mhm.
is a power to putting things in writing, whether write it on a piece of paper, type it into your computer. Once it's there, once it can be seen, then that's the first step to healing. Sometimes also we like to talk about things in order for us to heal. That's why we confide in a friend, a trusted mentor, someone who can at least hear us when we are grieving, when we are in pain.
Yeah, yeah. And so it is the title of your book, Unseen, Unbroken. It made you stronger, and you process through writing. All of us do, but we process through talking. And it really is a healing journey. I'm excited. I don't know about you ladies, but we all have areas in our life that we need healing in. And Mishkat's going to take us by her hand and walk us through. So, ladies, we read two chapters. Sandy read ahead. She's trying to get a gold star. But anyway, first two chapters first chapter, I'd like somebody to volunteer to give a response to how it landed on you. And of course, Mishkat's questions are who was, what's the first one? Not who was seen. That's the second question. Who, what did you take from this? That's a great question. So who
Right.
wants to start? Oh, Cynthia. Okay.
Well, I just first of all, I want to start out by saying the title is so dynamite. It's so perfect.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking of women all over the place, and I have a woman who lives in Jordan and is a teacher in Jordan. I have so many people that I want to refer your book to. So I I don't know when the title came to you. Already you're weaving the words unseen, unbroken, but it's a gripping title. And I'll tell you, Mishkat, I've never known a woman like you. Sue
Thank
says we've
you.
all gone through healing times, nothing like what you've gone through. I've never, I mean, the respect I have for you is just over the hills, mountains. You're an amazing woman. And
Amen.
Thank you.
oh, honey, I could cry talking to you. One of the sentences that jumps out is the best decision I ever made was to stand on my own. And it was
Yes.
because anyone stood by me or helped me, but you were so strong. Oh, you're incredible,
Yeah.
Mishkat.
Can we
Thank you.
pause for a minute, Cynthia, and ask her about how the title came to her?
Yeah, I'd love to hear. I really, when in the workings, Gary, beginning, did you know, or when did you get these two words to go together?
Towards the end, honestly, because
Really?
I was like knitting the words together without being able to see the big picture, how it's going to evolve.
Oh,
But then throughout going or through going through different manuscripts, through different versions of the book, I said to myself, perhaps this is a book about people whom we pass by every day and we don't see, we don't pay any attention to them. And deep down, maybe they are facing a lot of challenges. You know, Facing all these challenges, whether at the personal level, whether, at the professional level, either would, bring you up to the challenge or break you into two pieces.
mm, mm,
The only thing that kept me going was, first of all, feeling responsible for my son. I wanted to give my son a better life than the one I had. And I wanted to create a better future for him. And that was my motivation
mhm,
throughout the entire process. As I said in the book, when I stood up for myself and presented my case to the court to divorce my husband, in a country where divorce is shameful, where divorce is always the woman's fault, where, no matter what the husband did, whether he beat you, whether he mistreat you, whether he had 100 women that he would cheat on with, it's okay, it's acceptable, he's the man, you have to bear with it. I didn't want my son to grow up in such an environment. I didn't want him to become such a man who would treat women this way. And I feel so proud that I achieved that goal. My son is an advocate for women's rights. My son is advocate for women's equality, for treating people fairly. I feel that's the best reward I ever had. And from there, the journey to face up to society every single step of the way. When I was preparing for my PhD, I was, completing the coursework. The professor stopped the class and asked me in front of the entire class to justify why I was divorced. It's to that limit that this decision was, and still is, unacceptable, untolerated. Whatever the husband should do or should not do, it's the women's problem. And this is it's not only unfair, it's unreasonable.
Mhm.
And the problem escalates. The a couple of years ago, I read a story about a woman who her husband lit her up. He set her on fire. And the husband is free. He didn't do anything wrong. There's no law to hold him accountable, nothing. And, if you take that example and amplify it, how can you build peace in countries where this is the norm?
Right.
Shouldn't we start from, what goes on in a family and address that, and then build a better pattern, a better example, a better life for everyone?
Mhm.
How can we that we are living in the 21st century, we have innovation, we have technology,
Mm.
if we as human beings still treat each other that way, and there's a law that allows for that to happen. So, you cannot find peace in vacuum. Peace is found through connectiveness. Peace is found through everyday practice, whether, in school, in court, in the house. You cannot find peace in isolation.
No.
Mm.
So the title came to you at the end. And
Yes.
I don't know if everybody knows that this is your art.
Yes.
Oh,
wow.
you are so talented.
Yeah, and look at that. Look at the eye on there. Isn't that
Yeah,
something?
yeah. I wondered who had painted this for you. I thought, well, she went,
Gorgeous.
clever.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
I'm so glad you had a son. So glad you had a son, because a girl, just made another girl like you who wants to break the system. A man, through your son, can actually do something.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
could do
Yes.
something. He could take what you've written. We don't know what he can do with his life, but Mishkat, he has a future ahead of him to make a difference.
Mhm. Absolutely. And another thread
Sure
here.
hope so.
The,
Yes.
the four of us are moms, and we know what
Yeah.
there's just a visceral thing about being a mom.
Exactly.
It brings out Mama Bear. And by God, and you, every time something happened to you, you didn't let it break you. And that's because internally you had a standard. It was who you are. It's who you are. And that's so important, rather than just, whatever the rules are, it doesn't matter, but the standard, and you are a standard bearer, and you lived it, and
Oh, yeah.
moved forward. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone else, chapter one, and Cynthia, you can continue, but we're,
I want to hear Sandy. What's Sandy thinking?
One of the things that I kept thinking, so we lived through this stuff that we're talking about was in our timeline of life. And I remember hearing things about it coming up on the news and that kind of thing, but I did pay attention. I did not have a clear idea of what actually was going on in the country itself. And I thought to myself, how many other situations in this world do we just not have a clue on?
Right.
Because we don't living it like the person who's there.
Mhm.
Right.
And oh man, it just kind of shook my world as far as thinking, wow, I was just kind of not a part of that much. My daughter ended up being in the military, went to Iraq for two terms, and I remember praying heavy prayers over that girl because I wanted her to come home safe. Praying for all of the people over there who were having to live through those regimes that Ms. shares in her book. It's just like, wow.
Mhm.
Power.
Yeah.
Power does not make might. You may think it does, but exactly what you said, Mishkat. If we allow the kind of things that happen behind the curtains, how can we find peace?
Mhm. Well, and the beauty is that in each chapter, you, especially you start in chapter 2, really unfolding how you helped your students and the people you worked with set them free without saying the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So there was
Kind of,
Yes.
a
kind of code.
spirit of setting things free in your language, and you didn't read a book on it. It was in you, and you connected with them, and then you helped open doors for them so that they would feel that there was a reason to want to learn things, and there was a reason to want to, be unbroken.
Yeah. I love the paradigm
Absolutely.
shift that you went through, Mishka, too, in your teaching and taking it from rote to making people think, critical thinking, giving
Right.
them an example of what would you do if, moving the learning forward.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't want, sorry,
no,
I
no,
didn't
good.
want, thank you. I didn't want to recite the information that was ready for me to recite.
Right.
If you open up the books or even look up at laws, it will say that, for example, torture is prohibited, whether physically or mentally, in Iraq at the time. Every single student either lost someone they know or they themselves somehow experienced this torture. To stand in front of them and recite this meaningless information didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like teaching, it didn't feel like empowering. So, the safe haven that I was able to create was through metaphors and through international examples. One of them, of course, was South Africa. So, I would describe what had happened. And then the minute, I look around and I feel everyone is on edge, like, are we going to get arrested now? I would say, well, this is exactly what happened in South Africa under the apartheid regime. And, as part of international law, we are exploring this case study. And then everyone would calm down and, kind of breathe the sigh of relief. And like I said in the book, there were many times where my student followed me to say, Professor, just be careful, just be careful. We don't want anything to happen to you. Each time they said so, they were whispering. Each time they said it, they looked to the left, to the right before
Sure.
saying anything, making sure like there's no one close or no one's following or anything like that. It's, no, it's really more than challenging. It's unbearable
Mm-hmm.
to teach in an environment where you know that every single word can be held against you without any due process, without any chance for you to present your side of the story. What sadness me is that until now we haven't seen the Baghdad tribunal. It didn't take place ever. After World War II, we have seen Tokyo Tribunal, we have seen the Nuremberg Tribunal. We haven't seen one. Uh, Lacking that closure is what breeds violence.
Mm-hmm.
If we have closure, less violence will take place.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't have closure, the cycle of violence will continue. The only way to combat violence is through the legal process. There isn't any other way that can bring you healing, you know.
I'm not holding anybody accountable for
Exactly.
what's done. And so therefore it's just like you're saying, unfinished business.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Cynthia,
And
you had something. You had something to share.
Yeah.
That's all right.
One thing I want Mishkat to know is, I think Sue said it earlier, what you lived through. I can't believe you stood up,
Right.
unbroken. You were broken. There's no doubt that you hadn't been slugged around horribly, but you stood up, and I don't know if I could have. I sometimes I think I would have hidden. I would have just be quiet. I couldn't. I could. I don't think I could have done what you did. And I'm just like,
I think you would. I think you are able to do it.
in here in America, I'd do it in a heartbeat, but I wouldn't be afraid to be hurt.
Right.
So Mishkat, when you were setting those captives free in your classrooms and with your colleagues, um, how you had the impetus to keep moving forward. What was going on inside when you did that? I mean, how'd you do it?
Yeah. How did you do it?
Honestly, knowledge. Um, you know, when you don't have any other tool at your disposal, the only tool that is left for you is to look inward
Mm-hmm.
and to capitalize on something that you do very well. And I do research well. I read, I educate myself, I try to find answers. And I don't, you know, just wait for something to happen in order for me to look for answers. So before getting to the class, I was always searching for answers, reading books, finding materials that I can read. It's true, it's very difficult to find books in such a controlled environment because books, you know, are prohibited. Luckily for me, you know, both my parents were educated, so they had books before they were banned, so to speak. The other thing that you know, I invested in was learning a second language. So I could read English, for example. I could read French as well. And I know the law school had these books. You don't get them easily, but I was very patient and I was able to access these books by being persistent. I didn't take no for an answer. And then I would copy them, you know. Copy them meant walking a mile under the heat and the sun, carrying these heavy books, copy them, pay the fees, and give the books back to the library. And that meant that I have the ability to read them and explore them without the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, building that knowledge helped me be prepared to set people free.
Mm-hmm.
Without knowledge, honestly, you don't, you have nothing. You
Right.
can't move forward. Once you have knowledge, you know that there is a better world out there. It's just not materializing for you in your current environment, but exists.
Mm-hmm.
The more you show it, the more you present it, the more you talk about it, the more it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would, you know, admit, it was difficult for traumatized people to believe that there is something better out there and it could happen to them. So that's, you know, that difficulty. And being traumatized myself, I
Yeah.
could relate to them. Putting my hopes on top of their hopes gave us kind of a bigger hope, so to
Yeah.
speak,
Yeah.
a little bit more positivity.
Yeah.
And then we started, you know, moving forward together.
Well, and it sounds to me I'm going to use one of our words we use all the time as entrepreneur. You were almost a knowledge entrepreneur. You know, you jumped
Love
out
that.
into the knowledge and then came back and created a place for people to be heard out of nothing. You know, you created space, just, you know, little alchemy, little magic, you know, and it really is amazing. It really is. You know, I'm going to say this now because I'll forget later. Uh, I don't think it's an accident that we're doing our first book study on your book on Rosa Parks' birthday.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I think that, you know, you belong in the books with Rosa Parks and Anne Frank and, you know, people that made, well, Mother Teresa, who made something out of nothing,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, with God's help. But there was a creative spark in you. You say you are a great researcher, but you're also an entrepreneur in that there's a creative piece there. You blended you know, two different fields, if not more, because you're a communication expert too, in listening to people and presence. So just
You know
Yeah.
what we need to do, Sue?
what?
We need to get her marketed big time. Do you have we got to get this book and this video
Story. Yeah.
sent to 60 Minutes immediately, like today. It's got
Oh
to be
my God.
It's got to be big. And I don't know if Mishkat already has an agent working for her, but I feel privileged to be in this room with you. I am
Right.
so honored to know
Yeah,
you, Mishkat, and I want the world to know you. Your
yeah,
story's got to get out.
yeah. And somebody needs to write the screenplay.
Oh yeah,
You
and
know, this.
your son may write that. I mean, he's going to make a difference because he can. You're making the difference, but he's going to be able to tell more people. Even, I mean, he might write the script for you.
Yeah, he's the fruit of your labor.
Right, right.
That I
Yeah,
would love that. And
yeah.
honestly, I don't have any agent, I don't have any marketing support or anything to that effect. And all I'm doing is trying to spread the word about the book to people like you, people who will be interested in
Right.
reading and, reflecting on that process. Um, Honestly, I don't feel I am Mother Teresa or anything to that effect. I'm just a person who tried to make a difference,
And
who
you
saw
did.
through wounds that there, despite all the injuries, the hurt, the suffering, there is a way out, and
Mhm.
it's within our hands. We can do it if we decide to be serious about it and take a step forward towards it.
Mhm.
We
The-
can achieve it.
yeah, and then again, the other name that's jumping out at me is Viktor Frankl, who
Mhm.
invented logos psychology while he was
Right.
in prison. You know,
Right.
and it was because of that day by day, and that's you, my dear.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
I mean, don't make light of it. It's huge, and if it
Yeah.
gets marketed, it's supposed to, you know, God can be in charge of that.
That's
Mhm.
right.
You know, it's absolutely yeah, the writing is wonderful, but the story is huge. The
Very
story,
powerful. I wanted to just share, Cynthia, you were saying, I don't know if I could do that. But one of the things that I saw that I underlined that Mishkat wrote in her book is courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to speak despite it. And my bet is that each one of us have been
Yes.
not like not like Mishkat, but we have had time in our lives where we have spoken out when it wasn't a popular thing to do, but we took the bumps and bruises for it because it's important for us to say say our
Mhm.
belief, what we believed in and what our standard was, like Sue was talking about. So, yeah, I think in some ways, I bet you every one of us have faced that. And
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Exactly.
and Mishkat, you not only spoke it, you translated it
Mm,
into
mm.
something that could be heard
right.
when the if you would have just spoken it regular, it wouldn't have been accepted, or the students would be frightened.
Right.
But you translated it into something they could understand, something that would help them to heal. So
Exactly.
my goodness, there's just magic in your hands, darling.
Yeah.
And in your hands and Sandy's hands and Cynthia's hand, you all stood up for something. We all, draw the line in the sand, and we said, "That's it. If this happened, I will be saying something," and we did say something.
Right. Yes.
It's true. There were bruises. There were,
Mhm.
painful moments, even doubt. Why should I be the one to say something? But, if no one would say anything, then, silence will dominate.
Hmm.
And that's the scary point.
Yeah.
That's literally what, you know, what break us, when you are unable to say something. And, words and thoughts and feelings will be boiling deep down and you cannot say something.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I encourage people to write about it, to sketch about it. At some point in my career, I thought, you know, if there is a project called Sketch It, and sometimes when I couldn't say something, I would sketch it.
Yeah.
At least it's out there. At least I can
And
share it. I can circulate it without, fearing, let's say, for my life, or, being threatened or things like that.
hmm
But once you put something out there in the world, something material,
Right.
that's the first step.
Hmm.
Your voice, you will not ever lose that. Your writing, you will never lose that. Your sketch, whatever, action that you put out there, it will return to you multiplied.
Absolutely. That's that
And
manifestation piece. Yeah.
yes,
A Bible verse just came to me, and it goes along with what drove you forward. Is without a vision, the people perish, and you weren't
exactly.
letting anybody perish. You even if at that point you may not have been able to articulate that vision, but it was in you. It was absolutely in you.
What about that classroom that the professor asked you to defend your divorce? Just that classroom alone, those other 15, 20 kids sitting there hearing your answer changed every one of those kids in that classroom.
Yeah. Hmm.
Honestly, I took a minute. I paused when
Of
he
course.
asked me,
Yes.
and I told him it just didn't work. That's it. It just didn't work. He
Nobody
was
ever said,
hoping, I don't know, for some juicy gossip, juicy details,
yeah.
elaborate discussion, me crying. I don't know what he was hoping to achieve. But I just simply told him it didn't work. That's it. As
Well,
simple as that.
yeah.
Not everything worked in life. It didn't work.
No,
Right.
it
You're
was
even more respected because you didn't put him down. You didn't
yeah.
badmouth him. You didn't belittle him. You just said, in saying it didn't work, you said, I took care of myself.
Yeah.
Nobody in that room had ever said that.
Yeah.
I took care of myself.
Hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
It didn't work. I love it. I love it.
Well, I love the creativity, like what Cynthia was talking about, and Sue, and the fact that you found a way to connect with people that still protected the group because everybody was at risk
Hmm.
when you were teaching, and ideas of how to communicate with that in kind of code like, and getting people aware and still protecting them. And I'm just amazed by that, Mishkat, because it doesn't sound like that's how you were trained. And you went beyond and said, I'm not doing it that way. This is how I'm going to go forward with my students. And that took a lot of courage, but it also took a lot of creativity. You had something within your soul that other teachers didn't have, including courage. But you were very, you found a way, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and you were creating safe spaces. I'm seeing a big tunnel of dirt, and I'm a big heap of dirt, and you're creating tunnels underneath where it was okay, safe place for your students to be.
Right. Right.
You know,
And you know
You
how
know,
I just want to tell you this. You know how Sue called this miracle work, and that you have done a miracle job here. The fact that you're not dead is the reason to show you that
Right.
the work you did is going to get out and has to get out, and it's going to the universe is going to take care of it.
yeah,
Yeah. Story needs to be told.
The
yeah,
Yeah.
fact that you are not bloody and hidden and
yes.
dead is a reason why this book was meant to be and will be out.
Right.
and it's
I
a
agree
story
with you.
that needs to be told.
Yep.
You know, whose time has
Didn't
come.
need it. She would have been gone, and we would never have met her.
And even make it to America.
Right? Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah, yeah, miracle, miracle.
Mhm.
Okay, so any other
I was going to say
comments you
something.
want to
I
make?
interrupted.
Oh, no, 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 no. On chapter 1, before we move into any comments on chapter 2. I don't want to get us off the subject, but I mean, 2 kind of gets into more detail.
But Mishkat, you had something you were going to say, and I said, "Let me just make sure you know this was a miracle." Do you remember what it was? No.
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, chapter 2. Who's got an aha or a something out of chapter 2 they want to share?
Well, I came up on page 10 of the chapter, but another thing that I start is leadership is moral, not positioned. Real
Yes.
leadership doesn't reside in titles or control. It shows up in moral courage, in the decision to create space for possibility, even when systems insist there is none. That is a powerful statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to there there is leadership in you, and there was leadership in you then, and
Mm-hmm.
there and you had a standard, and I don't know where it came from. I'm not gonna give give credit to your parents that maybe there was something in there too, but it's you. It
Yeah.
is it's in you. It's that spark that's in you.
Right.
And that's a powerful statement.
Yeah. The spark is in her.
Yeah.
And in books, honestly, I investing in learning, building that foundation for yourself before you try to empower others
Mhm.
is key. I have sat in many rooms where knowledge is undermined and traditions, customs.
Oops, we
Nope.
lost.
Hang on. She's still here. There you are. I don't know why we lost you. Whoa.
Lost you.
Her camera may be freezing.
Oh,
I'm
hi.
back. Hello.
Hang on. Hang on.
No, I'm there. And,
So you were
you know,
talking about knowledge, and so then that I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm wondering if there were certain writers, thinkers that you admire and that you sought after often.
that's a tough question because there are many of them. But I'll tell you this. Martin Luther King Jr. left a huge impact on me, along with Mahatma Gandhi. It's very difficult for a person who has been oppressed a lot not to seek retribution
Hmm.
when they have that chance.
Right.
Nelson Mandela, of course. These are the thinkers that I always think about, talk to them in my mind, ask myself questions,
Hmm.
and then try to look into their experience to see.
Yeah.
And I know you've mentioned Anna Frank. I saw her documentary so many times, and keep going back to the moment when she started journaling
Yeah.
all the events, whatever going on, and I felt she was trying to keep the record.
Hmm.
So for
Right.
myself, finishing the book was part of keeping the record.
Oh, I love it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And those thinkers, like you said, didn't seek retribution and they kept moving forward no matter what.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's interesting that evil kept replacing evil. When one regime would fall, the next one would. I mean, it was just, and you talking. Well, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So, like I said, I read more chapters than I was supposed to.
There's
I,
your gold star. You get your
I
gold.
want to do it like Sandy.
Yes.
It's a page turner. I don't want to stop. I want to keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Mishkat, can you tell me the next two bullets on page 39 I want to ask you about, but the first one is survival under dictatorship requires internal negotiation. Tell me
Yes.
about that. Tell me about internal negotiation.
That is the one strategy that will keep you sane. Um, because with dictatorships, especially brutal ones, you tend to go with the flow. Okay, everyone is doing it. Let me do that as well. It seems fine. This is the norm. This is what we should be doing. Isn't so and so doing it? So and so is doing it. Why not me? Why should I be the odd duck, so to speak? Then comes the other voice in your mind, but you are not like that. You don't accept doing the wrong thing. You don't accept, what is not right. So that's why you shouldn't be doing it. So having that internal voice, internal negotiation is what will keep you sane,
Mm-hmm.
is what will help you put one foot in front of the other.
Love it.
You don't pass judgment. So those who are doing whatever they are doing to survive, that's their business. It doesn't mean I should replicate.
Mm-hmm.
For a lack of a better term, dictatorships want to transform people into machines.
Right.
They push whatever button and people will do whatever that button said.
Mm-hmm.
The button can say fight, kill each other, do whatever. It depends on what's on there.
Mm.
That's their ultimate goal.
Sure.
Once you diffuse the button, once that button won't work on you,
Mm-hmm.
then you are sane, then you are safe.
Mm-hmm.
How to get there? By keeping that voice
Yeah.
alive in your head.
You know what? I've got a picture of the old cartoons that had the angel on one side and the devil on the other.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's right. That's your conscience. That
Yes.
is your conscience, and your standard was stronger than the culture. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then I'm going to move to the next one. The next one says, hope is resistance.
Yes. Once you have to do whatever you have to do to keep that flame alive.
Mm-hmm.
Whether the regime would fall, whether someone will rescue you, you will travel abroad, whatever that is, you have to keep it alive.
Mm-hmm.
And through resistance, even in your mind, you don't need to, let's say, go to the streets. If you cannot, if you don't want to demonstrate, whatever it is,
Yeah,
in your head, that hope, that flame, should continue to live in you,
yeah,
so as you can go through it. To
right.
be honest with you, I feel like my students gave me more than I gave them,
Yeah, yeah.
because through them, especially, in terms of numbers,
Mm-hmm.
I was able myself to see hope.
Right.
And similarly, I feel my son gave me hope through continuing, through growing.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, I feel he gave me the opportunity to relive my childhood and enjoy it. Well, I recall we went to Disneyland. I think I enjoyed it more than him, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hope. Yeah. Hope doesn't disappoint. And that's another
Yes.
scripture verse, and it's true. But you have to keep it alive. That flame of hope is very important. And all the leaders that we've talked about had a sense of hope. Absolutely. Um, yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. A lot of your experiences were traumatic, and you talked about that.
Yes.
Did you ever, even in a weak moment, get angry?
To be honest with you, I don't recall it, but oftentimes I get angry on myself. So I can be my worst enemy, so to speak. And oftentimes because trauma is easily triggered, I tend to either blame myself, punish myself. I do that a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but slowly, I improve. And the improvement process is through healing. Healing can be different from any person to another. But what helped me is, talking to therapists, journaling, writing, and it took a lot of time and money. There was a dream. Actually, it was a nightmare that I kept experiencing when I came here to the United States. And this was like after 5 years, even or more, from staying within the United States. I imagine that, or I dreamed that I was tricked to go back to Iraq again. And I was captured by the insurgents and tortured, or they were about to kill me, something to that effect. And I always would wake up in shortness of breath,
Mm-hmm.
fear. It took a lot of work with my therapist at the time to get rid of that dream or nightmare. She said, once you wake up, change the ending, say, no, the ending is not what I saw in my nightmare. It's this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So we kept visualizing what the ending should be. And slowly, that nightmare stopped occurring.
Yeah.
There isn't one single bulletproof solution. We have to work through the process.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever help we can find, whether a trusted advisor, a therapist, a friend, a piece of paper we write on, all of that helps. And by the way, this podcast helps too.
Yes, it does. It goes out beyond all of us. It's healing all of us. So, any other reflections around chapter 2, or did we miss something on chapter 1?
Well, you've got me just, it is page turner. As soon as we get off here, I want to go read the next 2 chapters. I want to go further as fast as I can. And I don't want to go too far because I want to be able to stay with the subject that we're going to report on next. But
Yeah.
Mishkat, all I can say is thank you for being strong enough to go through what you did and then to tell the world.
Yeah.
And I want to be helpful to help you tell the world.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to tell you, I need all the help I can get to tell the world, because few people know about the book, few people know about me, and just like I did with my student, I want to reach more people.
Right.
I'm sure there are people out there who want to be seen.
Mhm.
They are going through things, they are struggling with whatever is going on in their lives, and they need a space just like this one.
That's
And
right.
they need you, they need Sandy, they need Sue to find their way out of whatever it is that they are struggling with.
Yeah. And the podcasts help, and the book is out there with it is a healing book. Absolutely a healing book.
Well, I think you retold your future. You talk in chapter 2 about envisioning something different than what you are actually experiencing. And isn't that the seed of hope right there, is being able to look beyond and understand it could be different. And I think that helps, because when we're in a tough place in our life, feeling like we're up against a brick wall, we can't do the problem solving that needs to happen to be able to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go around and close off this wonderful podcast. And just what's one takeaway? And we'll let I'll finish, but we'll go Sandy, Cynthia, and then Mishkat, and then I'll close. Okay.
I would agree with Cynthia. What she mentioned when we first started this podcast is, Mishkat, I walked away from what I read, just being amazed by you as a human and a woman, to share your story, and to be brave writing the story, because that had to take courage.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of work.
Glad to be able to call you friend.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
I am honored to be in your room with you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'm honored to be with you.
I love how you've ended each of your chapters, and I'm going to check to see if it's consistent, but you give the person you're talking to in that chapter, you are seen, and it's put in bold. And Mishkat, I'm going to start seeing more people and just wondering, do they need to be seen? I mean, you've helped me just go, maybe they're so quiet because they haven't really been able to be seen. So I use that. You are seen.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
good awareness thing, huh, Cynthia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
This has just been a wonderful beginning podcast here. And I just am, Mishkat, I'm just so thrilled and happy that we met. You know, I don't know if it was like 6 or 9 months ago that you came on, and you're just a miracle woman. And so the miracle's going to spread. We don't know how, but I am hunching that you're willing to step through that door when it opens.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
With you all with me.
Yes, we'll come with you. We promise. We'll
And we want you to be a millionaire, billionaire, so that you can buy these books and send them to all of your students and the whole university. We want you to be able to buy these books and get them out to all your neighbors and your families. And
there you go.
So we need the money to do
that.
Exactly. We need the money.
Yeah,
we want a front seat place at your premiere to your movie. So us girls want to be there. Wait, we know we're winning.
Yes.
I know you
together, hand
girls,
in hand.
but you've got to figure out what you start drawing the dress that you're going to be wearing.
Okay,
That's
good.
right.
Start drawing the dress for your world premiere. Okay, so we know that you're going to have a sketch of it. Well, thank all of you for joining us today. Please give us feedback. We would love to hear from you. If you want to join us, pop on 2 weeks from today, which is what did we say? The
February 18th.
18th.
The 18th.
And we'll be back again. And thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye. You ladies hang on for just a minute while I stop the recording. Bye-bye.